Hi guys. So tonight I'm going to be speaking to you from the perspective of Mary Magdalene. And the intention for this is to heal the Rose lineage. And there's been a lot of distortions that has come from, whether it be I better record this. Whether it be
in progress.
The story of Jesus or the story of Mary Magdalene, or how the distorted perceptions of what that story is, how it's perpetuated into being a martyr for Christ, and then sacred divine feminine being completely taken out of all religious texts and written basically as a whore or prostitute, and then how that has perpetuated itself. And so tonight, this message is for you. This healing is for you. If you are living from this place of, you are a light worker or a wounded warrior, or you connect to the Sophia template, or what you perceive to be the Christ template. Remember that Jesus was not a martyr. Jesus died for his beliefs, yes, but he resurrected to tell you that we are eternal beings and death is merely an illusion. And that has been so distorted. It's like when we think about like the way it was supposed to show you that it was to show you to break out of these illusionary perceptions and to see that you are an eternal being, and to allow yourselves to surrender all of these false narratives, to not get so distracted in all of the illusions. And so tonight I invite you, if you are ready to surrender the stories, but mind you, I'm not here to do it for you. You have been led to believe that being a victim makes you a good guy. I'm sorry that this illusion has made you think that it's okay to give your power away and to hold on to these stories of how the world has hurt you. I want you to understand that there's a part of you that's never been touched by the weight of this world, and that it's aspects of your fragmented consciousness that hurt you. And so while I'm here to clean up the confusion within the Magdalene, the Christ template, and you may resonate with certain archetypes, and up until this point, we have been living in an emotional dark age. And we are at this point of transfiguration within the collective. We are at the point of the story where we all realize ourselves. We all realize that we are Christ. We stop believing in these illusions like age and death and egos, this separated perception of self. We created time. And then we all started believing in it, and we started aging. Time is merely an illusion. You are an eternal being, a god goddess, who has taken a slumber for centuries upon centuries. Now it is time to rise. The second coming of Christ isn't going to be Jesus descending from the heavens. Jesus is already here. He's been here. You simply just can't perceive him from the level of consciousness you've been vibrating at. He never left. We have never been separated. We have never left the kingdom. We've simply forgot. So I need to ask all of you, is it worth it to surrender all of these stories if it means that the book in the shadows gets to close today? That you get to step into the truth of who you are without guilt or shame. The frequency of the rose is one of the highest frequencies on the planet. If you simply hold a rose and another flower, and if you have flowers or roses, I invite you to go get them, because I want to teach you guys how to do this. And I want you to understand that from the perspective of my individual ego, I am not Kendra. This isn't a practice that I've ever done before in this lifetime. I'm stepping into the truth of the I am presence, and this process is being remembered. And so, yeah, I invite you, if you have roses and other flowers, to go grab them. And I invite you also to get the things that you need for this ceremony and come back to this video when you have that. And if you don't have that today, I invite you just to allow yourself to receive. As the divine feminine, we are the sacred holy portal. We are the Holy Grail. We are created to be a vessel which receives, and yet that reception has gotten us into, actually it's the desire to stop receiving that has gotten us into all of this mess that we have seen on the planet. And that might sound like really harsh, but I'm telling you, the divine feminine, the feminine energy, it rules everything. If there is no divine sacred feminine energy that's receiving the masculine energy, everything gets thrown out of orbit. We have to feel safe enough to receive not just the masculine, and I'm not talking about sexually, I'm talking about energetically. The feminine energy stopped receiving, and therefore all of this electric distortion, chaotic energy is just pulsating all over, and that's why we see what we've been seeing. The wounded, let's just say okay, so it's like the masculine or the feminine template, which is the distorted Mary Magdalene, plagued by 7 demons. After I was raped by a Roman and called in the presence of Lilith in order to save my life. And Lilith is not demonic, but calling in a presence other than the Holy Spirit will allow for you to be possessed by demons. And when you are calling upon a spirit to possess you, in order to keep you safe, you're defending against love, which is playing in the illusions, which allows for so much distortion. But there is no judgment in that. But there is a need for that template to be surrendered. To see that we are safe enough to not have to be possessed. So it's like the perspective of Mary Magdalene, plagued by 7 demons, has perpetuated itself throughout history, with an absence of Jesus coming to clear all 7 of her seals. And so, therefore, the wounded Magdalene template is waiting for their king to come and rescue them. But Jesus didn't come and rescue me. I didn't think that I need saving. I was perfectly fine being Lilith. The only person that needs to realize the truth of who you are is you. Realizing that you are Christ, that you are God made manifest, and calling your I am presence and for the Holy Spirit to dwell within you, to dump out all that's been in your cup, surrendering it to Source, allowing for all of those stories to be erased, knowing that you were playing those roles from not the truth of who you are. You were casting those demons in your story. Surrender all of this. This is not true. Allow me to stand in front of you and cast out all of these demonic spirits from all 7 to 12 of your seals. Allow for you to be reborn today. And if you are feeling like you need to be a martyr, which there's so many illusions upon this planet, Jesus did not die for your sins. He did not die so that you could sin or live in judgment, which is really what that means. Okay, so just surrender all of those stories of thinking that you need to be broke and God-fearing and never have sex, like all these things. It's an illusion. It's a lie. It's a distortion keeping you from the power and the truth of who you are. How attached are you to these stories? Let them end today. Understand that when Jesus cast out these demons out of me, I didn't cling to them. I didn't keep talking about how, remember when I was raped and I called upon the presence of Lilith? No, it was a full remembrance, a healing, an actualizing, and then stepping in, not wobbling. Never doubting the truth of who I am again. So if you're ready to surrender these stories, if you're ready to be the second coming of Christ, because you are the second coming of Christ, stop waiting for something outside of you to show up and cast demons out of you. Instead, stand up and take your power back, cast these demons out of you, send them back to Source to be re-encoded in their original and perfect blueprint. If you have experienced trauma, I am not saying that there isn't compassion for your story. I assure you, I understand your story. I've willingly chose to walk every point of polarity so that there would never be a story that you could tell me that I wouldn't have compassion and understanding for. I've also gotten to the light, remembered the truth. I know the way. So when we have trials and tribulations, there's a need for you to mourn and feel those losses. But there's a reason why Jesus only spent 3 days in hell. So I invite all of you, take off the next 3 days of work. Start investing in yourself like you invest in other people. Or maybe you've gone numb and you stopped investing in anyone. Do you understand that that hard exterior shell is not the truth of who you are? I know that there's wounded masculines out there that have been hurt by that wounded perception of that Magdalene template that kept herself full of demons and lashed out and hurt you. Tried to, take out all of her woundings onto you. I apologize. I invite you to surrender that too. To not think that all women are going to hurt you or all men are going to hurt you. Understand from that perspective reality, you will only be able to perceive in that distorted illusion. So for whatever you've experienced that you're still clinging on to that hurts, give yourself 3 days. Make it sacred. You first purify the space using sage, opening up all of the doors and windows. There's sage right here, and I have a window open. And you just ask, you claim your space for only the Holy Spirit to dwell. You open all doors and windows, get it out of every little, place that it could be hiding. When we burn things like sage with all of the doors and windows shut, there's this really funny meme that says the demons are just running in circles in your living room because they can't get out. Remember to understand that nothing has power over you. Don't be afraid of these things. Remember, we created it and then we started fearing it. Makes no sense. We created it and then we started giving it power like it was our God. No. Also, know that when 2 or more are gathered, speaking hatefully about a situation or a person, you create demonic entities. Demonic entities that then can, jump into your body, make you do crazy things. So cast these spirits out, sending them back to source to be re-encoded in their original and perfect blueprint. Refuse to hate from this day forward. Do not speak hatefully about your brothers and sisters. Know that that is an aspect of you. If something that they are doing is coming up to hurt you, then find that part within yourself, heal it, and forgive what you think that you see. And then forgive yourself. So after you've saged your space, if you would like to, you can put salt on the door and window frames. And just, when you do this, you're setting the intention that whatever it is that you don't want in your house, like whether it be an entity, a negative entity, or people that are disrespectful, or, like I always intend my space like to only allow loving people to enter into my sanctuary. And like I've literally watched somebody go from being loving and like shifted, and they got thrown out of my house. So, I mean, the more that you know the truth of who you are, also in the King's Chamber, saying clear the space, and a woman got thrown out. So when you step into the truth of who you are, it's like, and it's casted out. But you can't do it from a not knowing of truth, not having the God presence within you. And so I'm feeling a lot of you guys starting to prepare to surrender. So this is good. Was feeling really, really dense there for a minute, for quite some minutes, quite some hours. So yeah, do your doors and windows if you desire. And then shut all of your doors and windows. And, light some candles. You can get some roses. Roses are so healing because they hold the highest frequency. And so when you breathe in, you are allowing for your body to entrain with that frequency. And when you breathe out and like sing to the rose, you're sharing that rose frequency with the world around you. So in those 3 days, allow yourself to hit the bottom, making sure to keep all of the doors and windows shut. My grandmother, anytime I would be very upset and crying, she would always shut all of the doors and windows. And sometimes if it was like I was really, really, really upset, she would light white candles and put them around me, and then she would pray. And sometimes she would put me in a bath, and she would put rose petals and Epsom salt. And the Epsom salt will pull things out of you. And sometimes when we're feeling really anxious, it's because we've been out in the world, and our world is so overstimulating. And so most of the things that we're calling, anxiety is just you're not grounded. And so taking an Epsom salt bath, having some kind of salt, even if it's just, to put some salt in your hands and just allow it to pull out all of that static frequency in you. If you have say you're doing online work and you're doing a live video like this, and all of a sudden you feel something trying to attack you or something, you can have salt and literally just hold salt and it will remove it. Also, when you're doing any type of healing work, work with others or work with yourself, you should always have a chalice of salt water. If you are doing a removal of spirits in people's houses, you should always have a white candle in the center of each room and a chalice with salt water. A chalice with salt water because the negative spirits, they will be attracted to the salt or to the water, and then the salt will hold on to them or something. It makes them it's alchemizes them. What else? And only keep salt in a cup for 3 days. Or if you're doing healing work with others, you should always have a chalice of salt water and then dispose of it, preferably outside but not on your grass because it will kill it. between clients, and then always wash your hands and clear yourself before, you work with the next client. Or, if you can't get up and go to the bathroom, I know when I was doing readings, speaking from the perspective of Kendra, and seeing, 20 sometimes people back to back to back, I would clear my space, or clear myself with, when I'm snapping, I'm clearing. So you can have a practice of using essential oils, anointing yourself. And it's between clients to clear your third eye. Also, if you want to use essential oils to open up the portals and get them going so that you're always a clear channel. Especially with the Magdalene template, the wounded Magdalene template, the heart. It's you gotta take that warrior shield off. It doesn't allow for connection. It doesn't allow for intimacy. There's that pit bull inside of us that is ready to attack people, and that's terrifying, so we have to be willing to surrender that. And so give yourself 3 days and mourn it all out. Cry it all out. Write letters, burn them, and just get it all out until you literally, normally, you'll cry so much that when you feel it all the way out, sometimes you'll start laughing. Or sometimes you just feel completely exhausted and you just you know that your chalice is empty. And make sure that you also refill. So refill with God. Go stand outside when the sun is coming up and allow for that light of the sun to just enter into you and just feel it flooding your whole body, and then grounding that energy down to the core of the earth, and then bringing that earth energy up your legs and feeling rooted and grounded in this physical dimension. Just continue to feel that energy from God, Source, Creator, just flooding your body until you just feel so expanded and full of light. And then when you're done with those 3 days, make a promise that that book of who you were, or what that was, or that pain, that it's going to close, that you're not going to keep talking about it. It's one thing if somebody says, for instance, my book in the shadows is closed. But when somebody says, what was your spiritual awakening like? You can tell a story in that way, but it does not come from a victim consciousness. It comes from the knowing of the truth of the I am presence. It comes from, this is where I was, and this is how I got to the other side. It doesn't come from people don't go, oh God, I'm so sorry. If they do, you say, don't be sorry for me. I don't want your pity. When people feel sorry for us, it sends us energy that has hooks and cords in it, and therefore we make negative attachments, and therefore where life force energy is always getting drained. And so ladies, there's been a lot of you that have been reaching out to me this last week, and that is why I have been called to step into speaking to you from Mary Magdalene's perspective. And you guys are reaching out to me from this, I'm a victim. I have no money. I have no way to get money. I'm stuck. I'm trapped. Please rescue me. Give me a hand out, not a hand up. I can't play those games with you. That is separation consciousness. I know the truth of who you are. I empower you to rise. There has never been anyone that I have worked with since I started that if they truly wanted healing, that couldn't at least come up with 50%. If you can't come up with anything, even like a skill, all you're wanting is somebody to see you as a victim, and I will not do that. I know who you are. I invite you to surrender these stories. It does not serve you. If you are in a loveless marriage, leave him. Leave her. Don't keep staying and making excuses for why you're miserable. If you are feeling like, I want you to see how you are creating the bondage for which you are asking for help with. If you just keep wrapping yourself up in these bondage band-aids, you're never going to get free. You are the only one that can say enough is enough. To put the coping mechanisms down. To realize that you are not your story. You are not your body. You are not this lifetime. No. If you have nothing but trials and tribulations without any positive learning, what was the point? Everything that we experience in this life and all others has a divine purpose. And whether it be that you've cast yourself in roles to make yourself a victim because you feel like you need to karmically pay for something, it's still a lesson once you learn it. Do you understand that God is not a punishing or fearful God? That God is bliss, that God is love? Why would God want you to suffer? That doesn't even make sense. The moment that you surrender these stories, you stop living from that vibration. You will never see the solution to your problems from the vibration of the problem. It's vibrationally impossible. So every time those stories come up, I invite you to stand up, look at the ceiling, and breathe, candle breaths, in the nose, out the mouth until you're freaking dizzy. Breathe those stories out of you. It's not the truth of who you are. It was a thought form that you believed and allowed yourself to feel into, and then you started writing it as your script. It doesn't have to be that. But understand, if you want to stay there, then just pop off this video. And know that there's no judgment. It's going to teach you something. And we all have our choice to choose. We all have the choice to choose not to remember the truth. We all have the choice to choose to live in illusion, to do it the easy way or the hard way. But the transfiguration is upon us now. The second coming of Christ are being asked to rise. They're being asked to remember the truth, to understand that Christ comes when he's born within you. So, if you have flowers and roses, and when you do come back to this, and if you're going to give yourself 3 days to mourn, and I mean mourn all of the losses. If Jesus was able to do all of hell in 3 days, then you can mourn all of your losses you've experienced in this lifetime in 3 days. Okay? Understand how you're addicted to your negative emotions, the chemicals. Yeah, it's an addiction. So I want you guys to just feel the difference, okay? Feel the frequency of the rose. Versus, see, I even got brighter. Versus the frequency of a flower. Just, I don't even know what kind of flower this is. I actually don't like the smell of this at all. I mean, it's pretty. I don't mean to offend it, but you can feel the frequency difference. It's like, versus like really high. So you can take the dead flower petals on the rose or whatever flower you have, or if you're just simply allowing yourself to receive healing from this, then just allow yourself to receive. And so when we're picking off these dead flower petals, we're seeing all of the trials and tribulations, the losses, the heartbreak, everything that we have perceived from the mind of separation. And we are going to allow for these flower petals to represent us removing all that is dead in us. And then I'm going to put all of this into the earth when we're done. I'm just gonna light some frankincense and myrrh and just send all of your pain and trauma into those dead leaves or into this flame. Illness, and just keep sending it in. Also, if you guys want to write a letter to the previous version of yourself and burn that as well. I have some just more dead leaves. This is all of your pain, illness, Send it all into the flame. Then take one of the rose petals and place it in the water. And just allow yourself to rebirth yourself. And then burning the rose as well. Burning all of the false template. Allowing for the Magdalene, Rose, Sophia, Christ to be reborn today. Knowing your holiness, remembering. Okay, I'm going to open up your guys' comments. Oh, you guys are all just being silent. Okay, well that's a first. So I have 3 roses here. Oh, there's some dead parts. So anytime you have any dead parts on your roses, allow that to represent what is dead and dying within you, knowing that every time we make space, we allow for more of the God in us to be born, if we so choose to allow it. Using a candle flame, and every time you look into the yellow part of the flame, just seeing that Christ light, that Christ energy. So, there's more healing that will be done using the roses. But I'm going to leave you guys with that. So I invite you all to take some time to release all of the not self and know that even when you're sick, having roses in your house, it actually even like clears, like, oh, I was told to not say it. So it clears like any kind of illness. So it actually will just take it right out of your house. And if you have roses, near you and you're constantly smelling them, because the frequency of roses is so high, your body literally can't hold the sickness. So if you're sick, allow yourself to go get roses. It's a beautiful excuse or reason to allow yourself to have beautiful roses. Allow for this light to burn away all of the not self that we have perceived from the mind of separation. Now I'm just going to clear all of your embodiments. I'm just going to crack open the shell that you've been wearing. So I'm starting at your head. I'm just cracking it open like a nut. Because remember, you've had to wear this hard exterior, but you are literally as gentle as a rose. This is the truth of who you are. But it's just like the roses and being the highest frequency. They don't need a hard exterior shell around them. You can think about the rose in the glass from Beauty and the Beast as the divine feminine and divine masculine, and the glass container being the masculine energy and the rose being the feminine energy. But now we are birthing unity upon the planet. And so it's time for that container to be removed and for us to step into unity, allowing for us all to be the rose. Allowing for us all to remember that we are one. There's no need to fight or to perceive separation. Remember that love needs no defense. When you're triggered, allow yourself to feel it, but don't purge it out on people. Ask yourself questions. Look when you're going numb. Don't allow yourself to stay there. And just keep telling yourself every time you think that it's necessary for you to defend, that love needs no defense. And feel the frequency of roses. Like, just feeling them makes you feel better. Like, it just makes you feel happy. And this is the truth. So now that you know that you don't need this hard exterior, if you feel ready, then just say, I accept or I receive. And I'm just going to crack this shell off of you. If you receive. Know that my frequency can't enter if you don't consent. It's not the type of, I'm governed by the laws of God, and I'm only allowed to enter when you say yes. Now just step forward in your light. Very good. Now I'm just going to place a rose I'm going to place a rose into your root. Allowing for this rose in your root to be the solid foundation, allowing for you to feel that sense of safety, feeling rooted and grounded in this physical dimension. Bringing another rose into your sacral, allowing for your divine life force energy to be born today, your divine sexual, sensual energy to be birthed today. Just breathing in that energy into your sacral. And then into your solar plexus, seeing a yellow rose being birthed into your solar plexus. Activating your divine willpower and your knowing of truth in the I Am presence. What happened? The music stopped. I guess Jesus wants it silent. Okay. So going up into our heart space, just just removing any more walls around your heart. There's still some walls right there. It's safe to release this. I just saw like this wooden armor just come off of you guys. Now I'm just going to go around the back of your heart. Oh, this armor was to block you from your wings. That you put on there. Nobody did it to you. Okay? Take it off now. Very good. You should be feeling like way lighter, like stretch. You should be able to breathe, allowing for your chest to expand. If it's still feeling tight, then it's the throat that we got to clear next. And so, just allowing for this beautiful rose to be birthed inside of your heart space. And then just clearing the throat, bringing up and opening the throat, opening anything that's around the throat, clearing all distortions of the not self. Allowing for you to speak your truth without ever needing to fight for it. Allowing for you to love in an expansive way and speak that love into existence and share that love and allow for your divine birthright to be remembered. Allow yourself to sing and speak and allow yourself to remember the essence of your soul and allow your voice to be heard. Allow yourself to stop living for other people. What is in your heart? What are you being divinely guided towards? Live for God and not humans. Surrender all attachments to thinking that you are only allowed to say certain things in order to be loved. This is not true. I'm just going to place this crystal heart into your throat so that you always remember to speak from the heart. Placing this beautiful sacred rose, if you have your rose with you, place it on your throat. Feel the frequency of the rose in your throat. Feel the frequency of the rose in your throat. Allowing for this rose in your throat to go up and into your third eye, allowing for your eye to be single, for you to see and know the truth of the I am presence. Allowing for that truth to drop into the knowing of who you are and descend upon your being. And now bringing this beautiful rose up into your crown and just seeing it expanding and expanding, this beautiful rose energy in your crown. And now that all of your portals have been cleared and reborn, we are now going to bring in the light from God, Source, Creator. Just seeing this beautiful golden light. It's beautiful, blissful energy as it's just spiraling into your crown. Into your third eye, into your throat, into your heart, into your solar, allowing for your will, your ego will, to be aligned with the I am presence of God's will. You are the second coming of Christ. Your will cannot be apart from Mother, Father, God's will. Allow for that knowing to be encoded today. Into your sacral, knowing that you can give life to more than just babies. You are a creator, God, goddess. You can give birth to anything that you desire, and allow yourself to bathe in that creator energy, remembering the truth of your divinity. You are not a body, you are free. You are exactly the way God created you to be, in their image. Bringing that beautiful God Source Creator energy from your sacral into your root. Now that you feel like rooted, you feel like, I'm just seeing like there was a hole in your guys' root, our roots before. And now that the roses have been birthed, there's no more just falling out the bottom. Like now you are, I just heard consecrated. Yes. Bringing that beautiful God Source Creator energy into your root and allowing it to expand throughout your body, through every single cell in your body. Feeling lighter, but more grounded. Bringing that beautiful God Source energy down your legs, remembering that you have legs, remembering that even though you are not a body, you are still here in a body, here to remember the truth of the I Am Presence and to walk it out. You have now been released from all bondage that you have perceived from the mind of separation. If you feel anything around your ankles, take them off. You do not need to be shackled to this earth in order to not fly away. Bringing that God Source energy down your legs and out your feet and into the crystalline core of this earth, plugging yourself into Mother Gaia, feeling this booming of light, letting this earth and this world and everything in it, letting them know that you have arrived to the truth of the I Am Presence of Christ within you. And bringing that beautiful earth energy, Mother Gaia's beautiful earth energy up your legs, into your hips, feeling safe and rooted and grounded in your body. And just feeling all of that juicy energy coming up into your sacral, into your solar, and then seeing this booming of light in your heart space, marrying God, Source Creator, and Mother Gaia in your heart space, and just seeing this booming of light, allowing you to be the pillars of heaven on earth. And as this light is expanding to all that lives, this is the energy that you share with the world around you without bondage. And as it is going out to the world around you, it is also going up and over your head and back into the back of your neck to refill you, as you are also plugged in to Source, to your source stream, as it spirals in through your crown. And you're also plugged into Gaia, so you're pulling up that earth energy. There's no reason why we should be tired, other than allowing for our bodies to heal. But when we're feeling drained, tap in and see where you're leaking energy. Now that you know, you're feeling your channels, you can feel when you're not clear. Allow yourself to go through a daily process where you're clearing it out and then bringing it in, clearing it out, bringing it in. And so it is. Beautiful, guys. How are you guys feeling? Guys are feeling really light and beautiful to me. So on that note, know that this healing is, it's timeless. So come back to it anytime you need assistance. Post in the comments below what you experienced so you can help others understand their own experience. When we share our experience, it gives permission to others. Ooh, and there's a little something there clearing around the throat. So just allow the Holy Spirit within me to clear that within your throat. Beautiful. So yeah, leave a comment below on what you experienced, and also share this out if you found it beneficial. I love you all so very much. You did amazing. And I guess I can check and see if you guys have any comments. Oh, hello. A, B, C, D, what's happening? Aw. Thank you. Thank you for saying my eyes are beautiful. Oh, look at all the roses. Much lighter. Me again? Well, then stop watching if you don't want. I go and I'm guided. Wow, okay. They're not hair extensions. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you for helping the universe and God, as well as the Christ, which is here with us now, healing the world and all its creations. So we together can we are the love. We don't need to bring back the love. We just remember that we are the love. Much better. A lot of throat clearing. Yeah, so just allow that. Did I need to say yes here? Oh, yes. Definitely say yes so that you can receive. Felt this so much, especially in the heart area, root, sacral, throat. Yeah, that's where I was feeling it too. I feel it super powerful today, especially the time is very near for the one to be revealed. God bless you, sweetheart. The one is, we are all one. Thank you for your beautiful light. Thank you, Kendra. I love the roses and essential oil. I was listening to other videos you sent me. I'm so happy I was guided to this. I came in for healing so perfect. Aw, I love you guys. God is so good to me. God is so good. Also, Mother Mary came to me yesterday. Mother Mary has only come to me about 3 times in this lifetime. I mean, I walked with her before, but and it was just like her face in front of me, and she said, "It's time to turn water to wine." And so, if you thought about that, like, I'm like joking, but like, I can see if this was me before going to Egypt and remembering the truth of who I am, when Jesus was always like, "Oh my God, this girl's not going to get it." I would have been like, "Wait, what? I just told them to stop drinking." But that's not what that means. It means like the first act of Christ. It's time to step into that I am presence. And she was just showing me that this is the beginning, the first act. And so from now on, I thought it was starting with the union codes, but I'm just being shown that it's now, it's today, it's, it's from this day forward. The acts of Christ have begun. And so you will see it in yourselves and you will witness it in others. And Jesus just wants you to seek until you find the Christ in all. So just make that your, we all have like an analytical mind, and that analytical mind can, it can go crazy with like worries and, all those things. So put it towards really analyzing to find the Christ in all things. And some days people are going to be in front of you, and it's not going to be easy to find the Christ in them. But make it like a scavenger hunt. Make it fun. And so then when you see it, you're like, "Oh, yes!" And then you can just surrender all of that belief, because really the only thing that you're seeing is that false self mask that they're putting on, because they feel ashamed and they feel unworthy and they feel separated. And so just forgive them. They know not what they do. And you can remember what it felt like when you felt like the world was against you. I just realized there's 3 hearts sitting in front of me. How cute. I didn't even put these here. I put one of them that I had for your throat, but now there's 3. How cute. They multiplied. Okay, so just remember what you felt like when you were walking in the distorted illusion, feeling separated, feeling like the world was against you, feeling like there was a need to defense. And so just know that that's just you in a different body. And so now be that awakening of Christ within them. Like love them harder. Love the hell out of everyone. When people are making it really difficult for you, just remember that they've just really forgotten who they are. And so love them until they remember, and pull out of the consciousness of like watching somebody and making it mean something about you. Remember that people's reactions and actions have nothing to do with you at all. And so just step into the truth of that knowing and just walk in that light and just keep sharing that light. And even if somebody tries to embarrass you, just forgive them. If you come from a perspective of not trying to defend and instead like, I'm sorry that my light scares you. I can remember when I felt a need to defend. I can understand how scared you must feel. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I don't feel that way about myself though. And so if you just walk in that, people soften. People release defenses. People start to remember who they are. So just love them harder, love them anyways, and forgive them. And forgive yourself. And so when you slip into those patterns, forgive yourself and remember it's about the refractory period. It's about how fast you come back to your center. You come back to the truth of the knowing of who you are. It's those periods where we go far, 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 far away. We're over here and over there, and then we're wondering why we're manifesting chaos. It's because we went so far away from the truth of who we are. You should only be manifesting from here. If you're feeling really crappy, do something to shift that before you walk out of the house because you're manifesting. So every thought you're thinking is manifesting. So if you keep telling yourself that you're broke, that nobody loves you, that healing's not possible, that it's always going to be like this, there's no vibrational possibility for you to see and perceive another reality. You have to get very, very serious about the thoughts that you're thinking and how those thoughts are making you feel, what it's bringing up for you. You allow yourself to feel the feelings, but you come back to your center. So that's why I said give yourself 3 days, purge it all the way out, dump all of it out, but then come back. Don't stay there. That's why depression happens. Depression happens because you keep allowing yourself to stay in that loop. And then your body gets addicted to those hormones and chemicals. And then you're literally just perpetuating that because your body's addicted. You have to go 40 days and 40 nights to purge all addictions. After that 40 days and 40 nights, I don't care if it's alcohol, drugs, codependency, addiction to, negative chemicals and hormones. My cat's like seeing something over there. Allow yourself to go 40, everybody needs to go through 40 days and 40 nights. And whether it's fasting from, fasting from the news, fasting from, even fasting from like anything that you do in an addiction form. People can read the Bible in an addiction form. Like anything that you're doing where you're like clinging to it. Surrender all of those addictions for 40 days and 40 nights. So whatever it is. If you have a food addiction, surrender that. Just eat very little. Like you can survive on like crackers, and sometimes when I do fasting, I do like where I only will drink like coffee and eat like crackers. And I can go for like weeks and weeks and weeks, but I mean, I don't recommend any of you do that unless you want to. But I don't drink coffee, so it's like I like it when I'm fasting, and it actually helps you to detoxify your body faster. What else? So after that 40 days and 40 nights, so like if you have, been like a heavy drinker, or you've had like heavy addictions, we all have addictions. So look, if you really think that you don't, you probably have more than everybody else just because you can't see it. Don't tell yourself you're going to stop forever, because that's like a lot of pressure. Instead, just take yourself through 40 days and 40 nights of purging all of the addictions, and then see after those 40 days and 40 nights if you still desire to pick it up. And if you do it consciously. But if you have no desire, like I never had the desire to drink again after my 40 days and 40 nights, then don't ever pick it up again. Don't just do it because for me, I drank because I was socially awkward. And so meeting people, I felt like it was easier to have a drink, to loosen up. But no, like, because you allow You give your sovereignty away and you allow for yourself to be possessed when you drink. That's why it's called spirits. So no. But everybody has, they're like Jesus turning water to wine. The thing is, the reason why he turned water to wine, and mind you, when Mother Mary came to him and said it was time and asked him, she was like frantic because they ran out of wine. And so I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you guys that part about whose wedding it was, but basically it was like a disgrace to your name, to the family, if you couldn't even afford to serve your guests wine at your wedding. And they ran out of wine very quickly. And so Mother Mary came like, this is going to be a disgrace, Not that she cared about the wine. It was more so about the belief system of that current day and what that would mean. And so Jesus wasn't, he didn't think he was ready. And he knew that the moment that he started using the gifts of the Holy Spirit, that everyone would know, and it would be, he would step into the Christ and walk in that. There was no going back. And we all fear our light more than our shadow. And so there is that, I don't know. And, but he stepped in, and I will never forget, he first thanked God for allowing him to turn these barrels of water to wine. And then when he opened it up and saw that it really worked, his face was so priceless. Oh, he was so excited, like a little kid. But yeah, so understand what she means when she says that it's time to turn water to wine. It doesn't mean literally. It means, what is your first act of Christ? How can you step into that? And not just, as Jesus says, like the party tricks. Like he's like, they only know me by my party tricks. Like that's not like those things happened and manifested because he is Christ. And when you are Christ, you manifest as God. God created everything. So of course, God in man, in woman, can manifest anything. Therefore, death is merely an illusion. And the way you resurrect somebody's soul back into their body after they die is there has to be an agreement with the soul to say that they want to come back to the body. And this agreement, like I see this when somebody asks me to walk their loved one to the other side, there has to be an agreement with that soul that's ready to go. And then on a higher level, God saying, yes, you can walk them over there. Because otherwise, it's like killing somebody. And you can't do that. That's against the laws that I'm governed by. And so when a soul, like recently, I helped my friend's grandmother cross over. And so you ask the soul if she's ready, and she says yes. And then you ask God if it's time and if it's okay. And if you get a yes there, then you can walk the soul over to the Father aspect of God and place the soul in the Father aspect of God, because it's the mother who's walking the soul to the Father, right? So there's no separation. They are one. And then the Father takes the soul, and then the soul goes into God's world and becomes one with God. And then the soul will learn on the other side, go through all of the things that they experienced in this lifetime and the perspective of other people. So, anytime that you've hurt another person, now you're going to have the perspective of the person that you hurt, so that you can, not for punishment, it is so that the soul can learn, the soul can understand, the soul can evolve. And then when you come back from a choosing of what you learned from the lifetime before and what the soul wants to learn, or what the soul is going to focus on, or what mission it has. And then you go and choose your parents that have a particular, like my grandmother on my father's side's middle name is Cleopatra. And I come from a long line of healers and medicine women, and Kendra, not Mary Magdalene, but Mary Magdalene as well, came from a long line of healers and Christed beings. And so you pick your family and you come in with a set of potentials. But from that perspective, you have no resistance, you have no fear, there's not emotion. So you're not thinking about it from a dense perspective. You're not thinking about, like when I chose into this life, I wasn't thinking about how it was going to hurt. You're just choosing. It's just like playing a video game. You're choosing your avatar, and then you get down here and you forget, and so you feel the density, and so it starts to hurt. But the faster that we realize that we chose all of this for our own expansion in our soul's evolution. And so if it evolved the soul, and the soul's like, the soul died, say the soul died, but going up to God, they realized what they were missing and why they got sick. And so the soul asked to be reborn or resurrected. Then you can bring the soul back into the body, but you have to have God's permission, and you have to have God within you in order to do it. But yeah, so it's these things that will start awakening within on the planet, and maybe it will start with one, but then it won't be meant to stay with one, because it is only meant to awaken the truth in all. So yeah, I hope that answers your guys' questions. This video has been probably really long, and I really want people to watch it and have the experience. So if you feel like what you experienced here was beneficial, definitely share this out. Post it somewhere, and just know we all have a collective group that we are here to reach and teach to. But first we need to get to a level of knowing of truth of who we are and healing, so that when we're teaching, we're not teaching from distorted filters. Okay? And if you guys want to work one-on-one with me, or book a reading, or join my course where I literally give you all the tools necessary to work with people, to work with yourself, to heal yourself, and do it in Christ consciousness. And that is a gift that keeps on giving. So, and if you're on the fence about joining us for the new union codes, Priestess Pilgrimage, Priest and Priestess Pilgrimage here in Sedona, just know that it's just like my course. It's like $1,000, and it changes your life forever, and also humanity. So if you're really on the fence about whether or not it's worth it, just think about that. Is it really not worth it to not know who you are and not be able to help yourself and others? And if you're feeling the call, then that means that you have codes that need to be activated within you for yourself and for humanity. So it's like, it's an injustice to do to your soul's evolution not to come and not to join the courses when you feel those calls. But always tune in and listen to what is true and right for you. Use your own discernment and trust God. And on that note, you guys can find me at KendraDivinePurposeMentor.com. I love you all so very much. Be the light that you were born to be.